Special thanks to our platinum sponsor, Alpine Air. Turn to the experts.
We are back. Our FCC license is still good to go. That means I get to do another day of local television. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I am Dan Kuntz. It's the 13th day of December 2023, and unless the batteries ran out on my calendar, I believe it's Wednesday. Winning Wednesday, the unmistakable theme as sung by, of course, Time's Person of the Year, Taylor Swift, who's 34 years old today. Wenatchee Wild ticket vouchers, the good ones, very popular prize around here because they're premium seats. These run about $25 a pop for any regular season game. They're between the blue lines. That's good. That's where you want to be. And courtesy of the Wenatchee Wild, I got 4 of them for one lucky winner. It's about a $100 value, and you can use them for any regular season Wenatchee Wild home game that you want to go to. And they have a lot of home games. Remember, they're playing 8 more regular season home games because they're in the WHL, which means they play more games, and that means they may play more home games. Lots to choose from. And again, any game you want to go to between now and the end of the regular season, one lucky winner gets 4 tickets to any game they want to go to. Regular season, home game, Wenatchee Wild. People like these. Send me your email, because that's how you get into the contest. You send me an email, winner@ncwlife.com. Winner@ncwlife.com. As you know by now, if you have more than one email address, you can enter over and over and over again on just one of those email addresses. You can't enter continuously like 1,000 times on an email address. We keep track of these things. It's one entry per email address, and you know who you are out there. There are some people who have entered in, they have like 3 email addresses. They send me one of each email address, so their name is in the hat 3 times, and they still don't win. I feel sorry for them. But you never know. This could be your lucky day. Winner@ncwlife.com. Employees of Soleon Broadcasting, Local Telecommunications, and their immediate families are not eligible. Sorry, Jefferson. If you don't enter, by the way, you can't win. That's probably the most important rule of all. If you do not enter the contest, you cannot win Wenatchee Wild premium tickets, and we'll do the drawing a little bit later on. It is raining lightly. It's 34 degrees. It's going to be a couple of degrees cooler today than it was yesterday. We got all the way up to 39. We'll be more like 36 or 37 today. Complete forecast details are coming up. It's going to be just as we've discussed already, pretty cloudy, pretty gray, some light rain, some light mountain snow. Weather's just kind of benign. Nothing really exciting out there for the foreseeable future, but whatever weather forecast we have, we will give to you, plus news, plus sports, and in the back half of the program, great conversation with Austin Drade, the broadcasting voice of the Wenatchee Wild, and Bliss Littler, the general manager, joined us at the Town Toyota Center. They have 3 games this week. They're in Portland tonight. They're off tomorrow. Friday's a big, big game, maybe the biggest game of the first half of the season. Prince George, that's the team we're chasing. We're in second place in our division, just a point behind Prince George. Prince George will be in town Friday for Ugly Sweater Night. Then they wrap up before they head off on the Christmas break with the Everett Silvertips in town on Sunday. Austin and Bliss in the back half of the program, and here we go. Our tour around the valley at about 4 minutes after the hour. That is the Heights camera. As you can see, the clouds and the fog fairly prevalent. It wasn't that thick and wasn't that dense yesterday at this time. We have that zoomed in just a little bit. Sunrise 7:40, sunset 4:10, 8.5 hours of daylight. Sunset tomorrow will also be at 4:10, and then on Friday, sunset will be at 4:11, 1 minute later. I wanted to give you some good news. See what the Omi Garden camera looks like. Looks something like that. You can see a little bit of snow up there. Now that's actually not in Omi Garden. It's actually about a half a mile away on a little outcropping that sticks out over the old station and Stemilt area, but it's still a beautiful view there from our Omi Garden camera. That's about the same elevation as the Heights camera, just on the other side of the valley. Head on up to number 1 Canyon and take a look east, and it looks something like this. That's also a camera that's up there fairly high. That's East Wenatchee that you see pretty much on the upper half of your screen. And finally, to downtown Wenatchee we go in the wet streets from the roof of the Cascadian, looking to the north. from the roof of the Cascadian. It's low clouds and fog. There are only certain kind of cameras that actually work for us. But there you go. A little light mountain snow in the forecast. It's a possibility. Now, the ridge of high pressure that's been controlling our weather is going to gradually slide to the east. And that's going to allow a couple of weak little systems to come in into the weekend, basically later on tomorrow. Cascades, an inch, maybe two, not going to stick around a great deal. Just some light mountain snow. So, and those are just the highest of the high passes. So Stevens and Blewett, they're 4,000 feet a pop. They might get a little bit of light snow. Doesn't look like I-90 is going to get anywhere. And then another system will move into the region. Right now, the odds of us having a white Christmas are pretty weak. I just don't think it's going to happen. We are in an El Nino, as we mentioned before. We've talked about that a couple of times. Warmer than normal weather. And, well, sorry, folks. From the National Weather Service. That way, if you don't like the weather, you can blame the government. Cloudy, some light rain, some fog, about 37. Slight chance of light rain tonight. Fog is going to be hanging around as well. Snow level tonight, 2,100 feet, but there's no chance of any real precipitation down here. We'll get down to about 32. Thursday, pretty quiet. Snow level is going to go up to 4,000 feet, but there's no real moisture in the atmosphere. We'll see some sunbreaks, by the way, on Thursday before another ridge comes in. We'll top off at 38. Thursday night, could see some light snow in the mountains. We're going to be high and dry. Friday, cloudy, 39. Saturday, cloudy, 38. Sunday, cloudy, 38. Are you getting used to a pattern here? Slightly warmer with a little bit of rain perhaps on Monday and Tuesday as we head into Christmas week. But again, a white Christmas, at least here in the valley, not going to happen. Sorry. Going to take a break. We'll have the news when we come back. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley Winning Wednesday edition on the NCW Live channel.
At Confluence Health, our mission is clear: to provide exceptional care for our community. We believe in healthcare that's personal and local because we're just like you, members of this great community.
We are Confluence.
Local care by and for our community.
Local care by and for our community.
Local care by and for our community.
We are Confluence.
Wenatchee!
Where you at?
From the heavens!
Where are you at?
Woo!
Where you at?
Where you at? WWE Super Show is where it's at.
Where you at?
Live in Wenatchee, January 7th. Tickets and Superstar Experience packages available now.
It's cloudy, it's raining, lightly anyway. Fog as well, 34 degrees, not much warmer, about 37. And what you see behind me is what we're going to have pretty much all day today and tomorrow and Friday and Saturday and Sunday. It's 8 minutes after the hour. A man who's been in jail since 2021 on charges of drug distribution has pled guilty to his part in the crime. 25-year-old Adolfo Israel Torres entered pleas on Monday to counts of delivering methamphetamine, cocaine, and other drugs 2 years after he was arrested by the Columbia River Drug Task Force. He also pled guilty to unlawful firearm possession and witness intimidation. The task force says Torres was carrying a handgun and a large supply of drugs when he was arrested in October of 2021. And while he was in jail, Torres was accused of using the jail's video chat system to carry out explicit chats with an underage girl. That charge was dropped as part of his plea agreement. Judge Travis Brandt sentenced Torres to 45 months in prison in a program that will provide addiction treatment while he is in custody. Narcan, the life-saving device that helps alleviate drug overdoses, is now being placed in individual cells within the Chelan County Regional Justice Center. Jail Director Chris Sharp says after a recent overdose that sent an inmate to the hospital for 5 days, the decision was made to place 4 doses of Narcan in each cell so detainees can reach it in the event of an emergency. Sharp told Chelan County Commissioners Tuesday that available Narcan poses no risk to inmates and may help avert overdose catastrophes for those that are in custody.
There's nothing they can gain by messing with it. It doesn't get them high. And we have it outside the cell as well. And
I believe about 50% of our staff are carrying it in their cargo pockets while they're on shift too. We have it at the ready.
A Seattle man arrested about a year ago with a large supply of stolen catalytic converters was sentenced on Monday to 16 months in prison. 40-year-old Dylan Edward Bateman pled guilty in Douglas County Superior Court to counts of second-degree theft, possessing stolen property, eluding police, and other crimes. East Wenatchee police arrested Bateman last December, and a search of his truck found 6 catalytic converters that had been reported stolen from vehicles in this area. The plea allowed him to avoid trial on the more serious charge of first-degree theft. Almost nobody was happy with the redistricting after the 2020 census, but it's got to be done. And it was done. Of course, the commission redrew the maps that govern representation in Olympia, including the 12th district, which was radically redrawn. In fact, 12th district State Senator Brad Hawkins was nearly drawn out of his own district, which gave up most of Douglas and Okanagan counties and expanded to the west to include parts of King and Snohomish counties. Senator Hawkins visited our studios last week. He said he was disappointed by the process, but he says he's going to represent all the new constituents that he has when they go back to work on January 8th.
I think it went terribly bad. I don't think there was a lot of transparency. The bipartisan redistricting commission had laid out like certain draft maps and proposals, and I looked at all of those, and a lot of the communities in Chelan and Douglas counties, a lot of the entities provided comments and kind of did everything that the redistricting commission asked for, and then they ended up in the final hour, literally, coming up with something completely different. And it really, the most disappointing part of the statewide redistricting to me was how it split up what I would consider communities of interest, Chelan and Douglas counties, and in particular how it kind of carved into the Wenatchee Valley area, where the city of East Wenatchee and Chelan County are in the 12th, but the rest of East Wenatchee sort of in the county, but with an East Wenatchee address, and beyond in Douglas County are...
Most of Douglas is now in the 7th district, yeah.
And when you think about it, we have the Chelan-Douglas Land Trust, the Chelan-Douglas Health District, the Chelan-Douglas Regional Port Authority, and the Wenatchee Valley Chamber of Commerce, and all of these entities that have sort of designed themselves around the Wenatchee Valley as one community. And so that really disappointed me.
And finally, today, if you cross Grant Road where it intersects with North Georgia, it's a well-lighted, well-marked, brand new crosswalk, but that was not the case in July in 2009. That's when 14-year-old Jennifer Curtin nearly died when he was struck by a vehicle when she was trying to cross Grant Road at North Georgia Avenue. Well, back then, it was unpainted and poorly lit. Jennifer survived with significant injuries. Her family sued the city of East Wenatchee for failing to properly establish a crossing in an area that is used a lot. Jennifer is now the owner of Inspirations Art Studio and Cafe here in Wenatchee. Her lawsuit settled earlier this year. We caught up with her to learn about the accident and the life that she has built since it happened.
December 9th, I was with my best friend, and we were planning on going to a youth group event. I don't remember where it was at, but we spent the day at the Eastmont Park next to the fourplex in East Wenatchee between like the high school and Grant Road. And we kind of spent the whole night after school there waiting for the youth group thing to start. And long story short, I ended up getting hit by a car on Grant Road. There actually was not a painted crosswalk on the street at that time, but it was kind of the crossway, people would say, like an unmarked crosswalk. Everybody would cross there because of all the schools and the fourplex being there and all the grocery stores and coffee stands and everything that was just really central located near there, and it was a corner. So there was actually a worn down path in the dirt between like the fourplex and the sidewalk where everyone would cross.
What were the impacts for you personally after the accident?
How much time do you have? It's definitely hard to put into words. Physically, with my traumatic brain injury and brain surgery, that alone was a lot to process and learn from, and new ways of thinking and feeling, and my emotions, highs and lows, and short-term memory, and oh my gosh, so many things with that. Physical, daily headaches, back pain, neck pain, knee pain, foot pain, literally so many things. And then just processing it. I mean, I didn't really understand what had happened until probably like a year after. I love living here. I definitely plan on growing a family here and staying here, hopefully for the rest of my life. So it was difficult to, basically half my life, I've been in a lawsuit against a city that I love. So it's been kind of complicated, but ultimately the whole time I was planning, or not planning, but hoping that what was going on was just going to make things better for the whole community.
It was progressing more towards going to trial. And of course, the attorneys usually often work out settlements and try to avoid going to court. That's costly for everyone and not always a guarantee for either side, right? So they did negotiate a settlement and didn't have to go that far. It was an unfortunate situation, and I'm grateful that Jennifer came out okay in the end. I know it was a struggle when she was younger, and she seems to be thriving now and happy, and it was an unfortunate situation that happened. The city doesn't assume any liability on our part. There wasn't a crosswalk there at the time. And so I don't think that the decision was wrong for the attorneys to settle. I think that was probably the best scenario for both sides so that we could just keep moving forward.
I'm happy when I've seen, like when I've had to stop for people crossing, like it's really cool. I'm really happy that I'm still here to see all of the good that has been made there. I've personally crossed there, I think, twice. One night on my birthday, I went to eat at Bob's Burgers and Brews, and it's right there on that corner. And I had never used that crosswalk yet. And I was like, I'm just gonna go over there. So after dinner, I walked over there with my now husband, Duncan, and it was really overwhelming and emotional, but it's all positive.
Here at Inspirations, you have a special anniversary coming up. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So I officially became the owner of Inspirations on December 15th, 2018. And it was pretty crazy of a day to become the business owner because it was also the day that I woke up from my coma. On the 15th, I'm doing a fundraiser for Seattle Children's. So 100% of the ticket sales for the event is going to be donated to Seattle Children's. Not only because I spent time there and I have a lot of personal love and thanks to them, but they just do so much good.
That is the news on this Wednesday morning. If you want to know what's going on in our area, watch the news with Grant and Eric tonight at 5, 6, and 10 on television, 5, 6, and 10 on the NCW Live channel. If that doesn't work into your schedule, it's up and running on any number of formats on our homepage, on our Facebook page, on our YouTube page, and on our app. And if you got something that's out there that you think we need to know about, let us know about it. Send us an email, news@ncwlife.com. The Kraken, their 8-game losing streak's done deal. Shut them out. Sports is next. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
Now there are even more reasons to meet at the Pybus Market. Outdoor dining and tastings, the fabulous Farmers Market, Saturday artisans on the concourse, and your favorites all week long. No matter the reason, it's always time to meet at the Pybus Market. Pybus Market, where community meets.
Sports at 20 minutes after the hour. The Seattle Kraken's 8-game losing streak's done deal. Shut them out. Florida Panthers last night. The final was 4-0. Nobody scored in the first period. Kailer Yamamoto broke the ice 3 minutes into the second. Seattle would add 3 more in the third, and Joey Decord gets his first shutout in his NHL career.
52 in deep sea blue, out to the slot. Good stick by the Panthers. That was Verhaeghe, and out they are. This is Ekblad, right in for a shot. Stopped by Decord. Spectacular save by Joey Decord. Jamie Oleksiak was off Devon Shore. He had a good opportunity in period one. Belmar lays it back for Borgen. Stretching out the ice, Yamamoto. He's in. He scores! Kailer Yamamoto to the roof. And the Kraken break the ice. In fact, they're in. Yamamoto. Evans. Evans now circles the track out in front. They score! That's hockey, baby! Pierre-Edouard Belmar. First NHL point. Riker Evans. 2-0. Seattle. And Oleksiak all the way around. Cartier. Borgen. Wenberg. He's in. He scores! Hey, hey! What do you say? Alex Wenberg. 3-0. Kraken. Reinhart. Verhaeghe in front, off bodies, off Gord. Captured by Vince Dunn. Angled out to center. Ekman Larson, a foot race with Tolvanen, who hacks it in. Eli Tolvanen wills it home. Empty net goal. 6 seconds on the clock. That's Kraken hockey, baby. That's the first career shutout for Joey Decord.
So now that the losing streak is over, they'll try a winning streak. Chicago Blackhawks next. They'll be calling tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Nothing really going on in college basketball. In fact, there's only one game on the schedule locally. In Cheney, Eastern will host Portland Bible. That's at 6 o'clock on ESPN+. Wenatchee Wild begin a stretch of 3 games to finish up the first half of the Western Hockey League season. It starts tonight. They're in Portland to take on the Winterhawks. And then the Wild are back home this Friday and Sunday. They'll host Prince George Friday, Everett on Sunday. Then after that, General Manager Bliss Littler says the boys get some well-deserved time off.
Generally, you'd like them to leave their equipment, but that's usually a battle that you don't win. You'd like them to really put the hockey away and let their bodies heal up. You'd like them to get in a few workouts that don't go too long without a workout, getting a good sweat or a good drip in, but get away from hockey. Let your body heal up, let your mind freshen up. This is a grind. We play almost 3 games every week, and so you gotta let yourself heal up, and that's really go home, enjoy your family, your friends, and come back refreshed, ready to get after it.
3 of the top players for the Wild are at national team tryouts. Coach Bliss Littler says, good for them.
Geeky and Savoy, they're at the Canadian national team tryout, which I would expect that they'll both make that team. That I think they're both projected as some of their best players. I guess I would think they'd be in their top 3, and they'll be counted on heavily for Canada. And Rogers, he'll be with the Latvian national team. We fully expect that he'll be on the team, and he was on it a year ago. So again, we wish all 3 of them well, and then we pull for USA.
The trade deadline is in January. Now, when the Winnipeg Ice moved to Wenatchee, they brought their roster with them, and it's a very good roster. But the price that Winnipeg paid, now Wenatchee pays, is they gave up a bunch of draft picks.
It's a tough situation, no doubt, that we're in. That as of right now, and don't quote me for sure, but we have 1 pick of our first 6 in the first 6 rounds this year. In the May of 25, we have 1 pick. 26, we don't have any in the first 6 rounds. So we have some decisions to make, some really tough ones. And then if you go back, this past May of 23, we didn't have a first or a second round pick. The year before that, we didn't have a first or a second round pick. So if we do nothing, we will not have a first or a second round pick for 5 years, which would probably mean that we have a really good team, a chance, if nobody gets injured, a chance to be really competitive this year. Now, we don't have the ability to add to our team right now. Like, can't say, hey, we'd like to add a right-handed power play defenseman. Everybody in the league knows that for 3 years, we don't have any draft picks, so we have nothing to trade.
And again, Bliss and Austin Drade will be my guests in the back half of the program. Let's head to the lanes. Eastmont and Wenatchee Bowlers picked up wins at Eastmont Lanes yesterday. Wildcats beating Eisenhower 3-1. And Wenatchee sweeping Sunnyside 4-0. Les Schwab Prep Boys basketball scoreboard from last night. Your winners in boys: Moses Lake, Ephrata, Quincy, Omak, Chelan, Lake Roosevelt, and Manson. Girls played last night. The schedules were the same. Again, the winners: Moses Lake, Ephrata, Kashmir, Omak, Okanagan, Pateros, and Lake Roosevelt. And we got wrestling, baby. Yeah, prep wrestling kicks into high gear. Big 9 tilt in East Wenatchee and Caribou Trail League. Eastmont will host Moses Lake at 7 o'clock at Eastmont High School. Cascade will be the site for Chelan and Quincy at 6 o'clock. Kashmir will battle Cascade as well. That'll be followed by Quincy and Kashmir at 7. And Chelan faces Cascade. I hope I confused you. And Eric will be there tonight. Met side. The Mavericks and the Wildcats. It'll be good. We'll get going right around 7 o'clock. And those are just some of the games that people are playing for your obscure holiday on this 13th day of December. If you live in Malta, happy Republic Day for you folks who live in Malta. A lot of folks watch the show in Malta. But today is Violin Day. The violin. Playing the violin will burn some serious calories, about 170 calories per hour. By the way, parents out there, get your kid playing the violin early. Early violin training has proven that it improves your cognitive skills, attention span, memory, nonverbal reasoning, just by learning to play the violin. And to make a modern violin, it takes about 70 different parts, all of them different, and they have to be done exactly right for the violin to be built correctly. The violin, one of the oldest instruments ever. It is their day today. I tried the violin once, but I play left-handed. It doesn't work that way. It's 28 minutes after the hour. Today in history, it's down the road they go. Sir Francis Drake, his 6 ships and his crew of 164 men would circumnavigate the globe. They left Plymouth, England on this date, December 13th, 1577. 6 ships, 164 men. Took them 3 years, went all the way around the planet. When they returned to Plymouth, England, about 3 years later, 1 ship and 59 guys were left. They had 2 of the 6 ships sank. Didn't want to, but they sank. They purposely scuttled a couple of other ships so the indigenous people that they met and the Spanish wouldn't get the ships themselves, so they purposely wrecked them. And then the last ship, which was a supply ship, they just basically took it apart to repair the last ship that they had. Off they go. Sir Francis Drake left December 13th, 1577. Happy birthday to the National Guard. It was founded on this date. In 1636, the local natives were causing trouble for the folks up in Massachusetts, and there wasn't really an organized militia. They were individual militias scattered all over the place. And Massachusetts said, enough of this. We're going to have a North Division, a Central Division, and a South Division of organized militias. Everybody, every man between the ages of 16 to 60 would have to learn how to fire a gun, even though most of them did. They would do drills. They would have night watches, all of it because the local Native Americans were causing trouble. So they said, we need to be more organized in our defenses. So today is the birthday of the National Guard, December 13th, 1636. Apollo 17 back in 1972. Check out that. Doesn't that look like a blast? Eugene Cernan and Harrison Schmitt got on board that thing and drove around the moon. That must have been cool. That thing there, that ATV, it's still up there. It's not like they can take it back with them. This, of course, was the last time we have visited the moon, and man hasn't been back since. But that looks like they had a good time. Of course, the idea was they could explore a lot more of the moon on that thing than they could just walking around. And 46 years ago today, Air India Flight 2016 crashes near Evansville Regional Airport. All 29 on board died, including every member except one of the Evansville Purple Aces basketball team. The whole team, the support staff, the coaches, the boosters, they all died shortly after liftoff from Evansville on their way to play a basketball game. The plane was overloaded and it wasn't balanced correctly. The center of gravity was way too far in the back and the pilots simply couldn't fly the airplane. There was just one member of the Evansville Purple Aces who did not die in the crash because he wasn't on the plane. 18-year-old David Furr was a freshman. He had hurt his ankle. Therefore, he wasn't playing for the rest of the year, so he didn't go. And 2 weeks to the day after the plane crash, 18-year-old David Furr, the only one who wasn't on the plane himself, was killed in a car crash, which meant every member of the 1977 Evansville team died. Birthdays. Probably, we don't usually do first ladies, nothing against first ladies. Probably outside of Eleanor Roosevelt and Hillary Rodham Clinton, the most famous first lady of them all, Mary Todd Lincoln, who outlived her husband and 3 of her 4 sons. In fact, she was, most modern experts agree she probably was bipolar. She would have really good days and really bad days and nothing in between. Mary Todd Lincoln, of course, whose family sympathized with the Confederates, was born in the state in 1818, died in 1882. Dick Van Dyke is 98 years old today. Da, 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 da. Happy birthday, Dick Van Dyke. 5 Primetime Emmy Awards. He's in the Television Hall of Fame. 98 years old today. And Time's 2023 Person of the Year, the highest grossing female act and the first artist, the first billionaire who's made billions just by playing music and doing nothing else. Taylor Swift is 34 today. Going to take a break. Guy McNally's got an opinion. And we'll talk to Austin Drade and Bliss Littler of the Wenatchee Wild. Super duper thanks to our friends at Alpine Air. For heat and air, call Alpine Air, platinum sponsors of all the programming here on the NCW Life channel. And don't forget, it's Winning Wednesday, folks. Get in your emails, winner at ncwlife.com, winner at ncwlife.com for premium tickets to any future Wenatchee Wild regular season home game you want to go to. And they're good seats. McNally is next. We'll be back.
Are you dealing with a pest or weed issue and you just don't know what to do?
We use the best pest control methods approved for areas with kids and pets.
Whether it's rats, mice, ants, or spiders,
or something else altogether. We provide the coaching and solutions you're looking for.
And you can know that your dollars are supporting a local, family-owned and operated business.
Allow us to help you get back to living healthy and pest-free. Harvest Valley Pest Control.
The newest generation of GMC Sierra pickups offer the most advanced technology, the strongest selection of powertrain, and everything else you need to work hard, play hard, and explore the boundaries of the Wenatchee Valley and beyond. Take a look at the latest, most luxurious and durable trucks on the market.
You will see why GMC is not your grandfather's pickup.
You want to bet, kid?
This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody's entitled to my opinion. Now, when I was a kid, I used to read stories about people who had regrets. Now, these folks would reach middle age or later, and suddenly they'd say to themselves, is this all there is? Or something like, why didn't I do so-and-so or such and such? Basically, they'd be saying that they wasted their life, their one life. Now, this made me think. I never wanted to forget that this life, my life, is a one-way trip, and I didn't want to waste mine having regrets that I didn't measure up to much. So, how have I done? You tell me. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
In today's environment, risk management assessment is a crucial process for your business. Risk assessment will identify, evaluate, and mitigate hazards. Don't let risk impact your business income, reputation, operations, and your overall success. We can give you peace of mind by transferring your business risks to the insurance providers. Call Stacy at August Edge Insurance today to schedule a risk management assessment for your business.
Global Car Care has the best customer service in the Valley. From the moment you walk in the door, their goal is to help you stay on the road, so you can keep doing what's important to you. Global Car Care certified ASE mechanics stand behind your automotive repairs.
Tiki Hawaiian Barbecue, family owned and operated on North Wenatchee Avenue, right next to Hooked on Toys. Tiki Hawaiian Barbecue uses only fresh ingredients handcrafted with love, including authentic Hawaiian barbecue and Japanese-style ramen noodle soups. And the bubble teas will keep you coming back for more. Enjoy the culinary tour of the Pacific Rim with Hawaiian barbecue lunches and combo plate classics, as well as ramen noodle soups. Tiki Hawaiian Barbecue. Enjoy their comfort food like you're one of the family.
My name is Anna Marie. I've lived at Prestige here for 6.5 years, and I love it. They just made you feel so welcome. I love my room. I get 3 meals a day, do as I darn well want to. I've loved it ever since I moved in.
Mom's a wonderful, wonderful lady. She deserved the very best, and I got it for her here at Prestige.
Every Wednesday, we set aside some valuable time, come down here to the Town Toyota Center to talk wild hockey when they have home games this weekend. And by golly, they do have home games this weekend after visiting Portland tonight down in the Rose City. Austin Drade always visits with us, and alongside him, a guy you may have heard of, the general manager of the Wenatchee Wild, Bliss Littler. We'll get to Bliss in just a little bit. Austin, it's good to see you, my friend. We're not going to talk about Saturday night in Kennewick. We're just going to gone, flushed, toast. Let's bump right on into Sunday night in the Lilac City. A nice little 3-1 come from behind victory as we roll highlights of the 4 Wenatchee Wild goals. Nice to come back from a 3-1 victory, especially following the events of Saturday night. You call this team gritty. They showed it on Sunday night.
They really did. This is actually the 10th game that the guys have come back and won from when they've been down at some point during the game, and the 6th win when they've been down at least 2. So this group is never out of a game, and it was kind of an ominous start with that goal a couple of minutes into the game. Luka got that goal early in the second period to get it back to 1, and they got it back to 2 going to the third period. But I love the jump that I saw from the guys in the start of the third period. They came out flying. Got that turnover that Hayden picked up early in the period to get it back to 1. And then the game winner that came off of Briley's stick. As long as he hit his target, there was no stopping that shot, and he definitely hit his target. Kenta and Briley have been really good together on the power play here this weekend, and I think that's going to continue for a while, the way they're rolling right now.
And some pretty good goaltending work, too, between the pipes.
There was. Daniel did a great job, had a couple of huge saves for us in the third period. Guys really stepped up and sold out to keep the pucks away from him as much as they could. But in the third period, he did have to face a few shots, and the ones that got through to him, he didn't miss on.
So 10 come from behind victories, 6 come from behind victories when we're down at least 2 goals. Tells you pretty much everything you need. This team skates all the way for 64 minutes.
They really do. We talk about grit. We talk about confidence. So that these guys come out of the locker room. The chips look like they're down. The odds look like they're not very good, and the guys jump in and take care of business as well as they can. They've done it quite a bit here this season, but when they need to come through, they usually find a way to do it.
Again, they are in Portland tonight, and then they're back here on Friday night for a big, all three of these are big because, ironically enough, Prince George is leading the division, followed by Wenatchee with 43 points, then Everett, who we play on Sunday, and then Portland, who we play tonight. So we have one game against the team we're chasing and two games against teams that are right behind us. Let's start out with Prince George on Friday night. They are leading the division by just one measly point, but they're good.
They're a very good team, very good offense. They'll roll through all 60 minutes. They're the third period team in our conference. So Portland's the first period team. We've been the second period team, and Prince George has been the third period team that endures the game. And they've got an excellent rookie goaltender. Josh Ravensbergen has been incredible for them this year. So we're going to have to find a way to beat a really good goaltender and slow down a pretty good offense.
That is on a Friday night with Prince George here in town. It's also Ugly Sweater Night, brought to you by Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning. You got something in your closet? Or is it your everyday sweater?
I'm sure I can find some.
And then they got the Silver Tips here in town on Sunday afternoon for a matinee. Again, Everett nipping at our heels. Talk a little bit about them.
Everett's right behind us. They had a solid weekend here this past week, and I believe, if I remember correctly, every game against Everett has gone to overtime that we've played them so far this year. So we're starting to see some rivalries build. We're starting to see some matchups that take some extra time to be taken care of, and I think Everett's going to be one of those rivalries, not just between the fans and the teams, but the way these teams play against each other. Every game's going to be close.
And then Christmas break. They don't have a game for 10 minutes after Everett on Sunday. No games for 10 minutes. No games for 10 days. So are they gonna spread out and head home for a little bit for a little rest and R&R? Bliss, I'll let you handle that.
Yeah, they'll all leave. I guess, is it Sunday night?
Sunday night, I think, after
Sunday
the game.
night after the game. That if they're driving, they'll probably get up and take off right away. And I think we have 14 or 15 that we're driving up to Kelowna. We'll put in one of the vans and we'll drive them up there. They'll fly out of Kelowna and fly back Christmas afternoon. So they'll be gone for a while. It'll be a good break for them.
What's from you've coached hockey at a very high level for a very long period of time. You're used to these Christmas breaks. Some of them have been very long. This is a little abbreviated. What do you tell your guys before they hop on the plane or scatter after that last game against Everett, just to make sure they need the break, both the physically and mental break, just to step away from the game a little bit, but there's probably some other little tidbits you want to pass along before they scatter to the winds? Generally, you'd like them to leave their equipment. But that's usually a battle that you don't win. No, you'd like them to really put the hockey away and let their bodies heal up. You'd like them to get in a few workouts that don't go too long without a workout, getting a good sweat or a good drip in. But get away from hockey. Let your body heal up. Let your mind freshen up. This is a grind. We play almost 3 games every week, and so you got to let yourself heal up, and that's really go home, enjoy your family, your friends, and come back refreshed, ready to get after it. 3 guys have already stepped aside for a very good reason. Connor, Matthew, and Rogers are in Canada as we speak. Three of our best players, quite frankly. Bliss, I'll let you handle this. Where are they, and why are they where they are? Well, Geeky and Savoy, they're at the Canadian national team tryout, which I would expect that they'll both make that team. That I think they're both projected as some of their best players. I guess I would think they'd be in their top 3, and they'll be counted on heavily for Canada. And Rogers, he'll be with the Latvian national team. We fully expect that he'll be on the team, and he was on it a year ago. So. Again, we wish all 3 of them well, and then we pull for USA. And if again, as you mentioned, Rogers will be playing for his native team. Connor and Matthew, if they make it, they're going to be gone for a while then, and you're expecting them to make it, which means basically from late December to early January, they're not going to be hanging around here. Yeah, we don't expect to see them back till January 7th. Okay. And so, what kind of adjustments need to be made from a team standpoint? This is next man up, because these 2 guys, Geeky and Savoy, have been really doing well. Now they're not on the now they're not here.
Yeah, they've been two of the best players in the league. You put them with Kenta, and that's probably, or I guess arguably, been the best line in the league since they were put together. Yeah, somebody else is going to have to step up. That's just how it is. That injuries happen, and these events, players leave. That if you have good players, the national team's going to come calling. Those things happen. My experience is every time a player goes and gets to play international competition, they come back a better player from that experience. So, again, I think it'll be a great experience for all three of them, and we'll be pulling for them.
Western Hockey League, the transition has been, well, successful, shall we say, all things considered. Of course, the Winnipeg Ice did something very unusual last year. They went ahead and said, we're putting all of our ducks in one basket. They decided to make as deep a run of the playoffs as they possibly could as the Winnipeg Jets, as the Winnipeg Ice, I should say, the Winnipeg Ice. They went all the way to the finals, lost in the WHL championship to the Seattle Thunderbirds, but they paid a price. Coach Littler, I still want to call you a coach. I don't think I'll ever get away from not calling you Coach Littler. A lot of draft picks. They basically sold the farm to make a run at the championship last year, and that's put you in a somewhat precarious situation going forward, doesn't it?
Well, when teams have a chance, when they feel they have a chance to win a championship, that a lot of times it comes in cycles. That in the North American Hockey League, the United States Hockey League, the BCHL, you can reload. Like you can go from worst to first in a year, and it happens all the time. In the Western Hockey League, it's a mini NHL. That you don't go from worst to first. It just, like the draft a year ago, they drafted 2008 birth years. Okay, now those 2008s, they have a limited number of games they're allowed to play in this year. And the very best ones will be in the league next year, but it'll be the following year is when you're hoping that they start to contribute. And then they get drafted, then you get them another year or two, and that's when they're dominant. So 4 or 5 years later is when they're going to be dominant players, when they're going to be the Geekies and Savoys, where to have a pick like Savoy was the #1 player taken overall in his draft class. The #2 player was Geeky. Okay?
And they're both on our roster.
Yeah. But to do that, when they were in Cranbrook, they had to have some seasons that I guess the only people that would be real happy with that would have been the scouting director, knowing that he was going to get the first pick. So it's just how it is, and it goes in cycles. So you draft a player, you track them, you hope you have a little bit of help in development. They play another year or two of youth hockey, whether it's high school hockey, midget hockey, whatever it is. And then when you get them, that first year that they're going to probably struggle. And you're hoping to build for the following year they're a pretty good hockey player. Well, when you have a chance to win a championship, you have to sacrifice a little bit of the future. And it's not uncommon. Like Kelowna, the year of when COVID started, Kelowna, they went for it. And they didn't even get to reap the benefits of what they traded, because they traded for some great players. And COVID happened, no playoffs. But they already gave their draft picks away. So it's a tough situation, no doubt, that we're in. That as of right now, and don't quote me for sure, but we have 1 pick of our first 6 in the first 6 rounds this year. In the May of 25, we have 1 pick. 26, we don't have any in the first 6 rounds. So though we have some decisions to make, some really tough ones. And then if you go back, this past May of 23, we didn't have a first or a second round pick. The year before that, we didn't have a first or a second round pick. So if we do nothing, we will not have a first or a second round pick for 5 years, which would probably mean that we have a really good team, a chance, if nobody gets injured, a chance to be really competitive this year. Now, we don't have the ability to add to our team right now. Like, can't say, hey, we'd like to add a right-handed power play defenseman. Everybody in the league knows that for 3 years, we don't have any draft picks, so we have nothing to trade. So everybody else, where last week you saw Portland make a deal to add a real high-end defenseman, and you saw about 3 weeks ago Saskatoon adding a big-time forward. And, so those are things that we'll have to consider, and we'll just take it day by day right now. And we're real happy with where we're at with this group. We think we've seen a whole bunch of improvement. Our top-end players, they've shown up as advertised. They're the top end. But our younger players are getting better. I think we're doing a nice job that way. And we're just going to have to take it day by day. And the trade deadline is January 10th. And we'll have to see how healthy we are. And that all plays into it. That you lose a top-end defenseman, that changes everything. But right now we're fielding offers, and we'll do what makes the most sense for the Wenatchee Wild organization in the long term.
As the general manager, the person in charge of building a roster, this roster wasn't so much built, Bliss, as it was you inherited it. These are your players, but the culture carries over from the British Columbia Hockey League to the Western Hockey League. The culture of what the Wenatchee Wild is as a franchise and the fan base and the tradition. Because that, from a general manager standpoint, is that something you can take to the bank knowing you're going to have to make some trades? People will return your phone calls. You're Bliss damn Littler, 30 years in the league. So you do have, I don't
have to pick up for me, it's picking up the phone because people are calling. That when the assets that the players that we have, every team in the league that feels they have a chance to win a championship, every team has made calls. So it's just with us, it's what makes the most sense is a long playoff run versus some struggles for the next 5-6 years. We'll have to weigh all that, and I'll talk with ownership, and those are tough decisions. It's not where right now that a decision that you make or you don't make, you don't do anything. We don't have a first round draft pick here. It's 6 seasons before you have potential for the team to get their next first round draft pick. So, but it's awful fun right now. It's a lot of fun what we throw on the ice every night. So we'll have some tough decisions to make here coming up.
I do not envy you on January 10th or the days leading up to January 10th. But you're right. This has been a lot of fun, Austin. This is for you one continuous professional step up, isn't it?
It has been going from Tier 3 years ago to Tier 2 North American Hockey League, BCHL, and now to the Western Hockey League. It's been a lot of fun. We're coming up on the halfway point of the season on Friday night, and it's really neat seeing the way the community has really jumped in and supported this group. Coming in from a brand new market, a lot of them had never been to Wenatchee before, never seen Wenatchee before, and now they've got a fan base that has really taken to them, and they've really given it back the way they've played here in front of this crowd the last 12 games.
I have a feeling that this place on Friday night against Prince George is going to be rocking. This place has a reputation in the league for being one of the toughest places for a visiting team to come in and come away with a W. It happens few and far between around here.
And the guys have done a good job of building that reputation very, very quickly. To win 13 of the first 14 that you ever play in a brand new building, the word is getting around pretty fast around the WHL, I think.
Again, to recap, tonight they're in Portland. Prince George here Friday for Ugly Sweater Night, courtesy of Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning. Everett on Sunday, and then a 10-day break before they're off until December 27th. Before we cut you loose, it's the Austin Andrade Chico's Bell Buns Wenatchee Wild Player of the Week. Who gets the big kudos from my good buddy, Mr. Andrade? Who's standing out at you, buddy?
Let's give it to Kenta Isogai. 8 games in a row with at least a point. Graham Swart is right behind him with 7, but Kenta had some big-time points for us this past weekend. Let's give him the honors.
Have a good break. Say hi to the folks back in the Midwest. We love our friends in Iowa, so I'm glad you get to take some time off. Bliss, best to you and Gretchen. And how's the boy doing skating? We miss him around here. We miss your son.
He's having a good year right now, and we'll get him home. Him and Grace will be back on Sunday for a week or so, which will be nice to have him here.
And you got the keys to the joint, so we can keep in hockey legs.
Yeah, I would say we'll get out on the ice a few times.
Bliss, it's always great to see you, Austin. I guess we won't see you for a couple of weeks, right?
Not for a couple.
Okay.
I'll be back.
Go Wild, folks, and we will be right back.
Central Washington Water is your solution for problem water. Whether you're on a well or municipal water, they can design a clean water system custom to you. Soft water eliminates water spots and scaling on fixtures. It protects appliances from hard water damage, saving you money. Soft water reduces soap usage that causes skin irritation and is a healthier choice to drink. Call for a free in-home consultation or stop by the store to have your water tested. Central Washington Water, your best water solution for home, pool, and spa.
If you love good food and drink, you don't have to look all over for the food truck anymore. You can go directly to Mama Tina's new location at Riverside 9 Apartments. Top-rated pizza, sandwiches, and calzones in a full bar make Mama Tina's your new destination restaurant.
Now, am I looking into this camera? Or am I looking, where am I looking?
We're gonna have you just look at it.
The holiday season is coming, and Santa's making his 15-second commercial for NCW Life Channel. Are you? Ho, 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 ho.
All right, we are back on this Winning Wednesday. Once again, if you're just joining us, up for grabs, Wenatchee Wild tickets, premium seats to any future regular season home Wenatchee Wild game. So you're not locked into any one particular game that you have to go to. You can trade these vouchers in for any regular season home game. Really good seats, and there are 4 of them. So you can take you and 3 of your friends, or you and 2 of your friends and 1 of your enemies. It doesn't matter to me. Send me your email, winner@ncwlife.com, winner@ncwlife.com. 1 entry per email address, but if you have more than 1 email address, you can enter more than once. We'll do the drawing a little bit later on. It continues to rain. It is 34 degrees, and there's going to be a little bit of light snow in the mountains coming up on Thursday, tomorrow, but not a lot. Cascades maybe a couple of inches, and we're talking about 4,000 feet or above. So Stevens and Blewett could get a light dusting of snow, although I don't think Blewett's really going to get any. And whatever snow Stevens gets on Thursday isn't going to be very much. Anything below 4,000 feet is going to be in the form of rain, but even that ain't much either. Come to think of it, the weather is just kind of bleh, if that's an even word from the National Weather Service. One more look at it. Cloudy, some fog, some light rain, high of 37, 32 for the overnight low tonight. The ridge that is giving us the clouds and the fog is going to shift a little bit to the east, but it's not going to change things a great deal. Maybe a few sun breaks on Thursday, and a high of 38 Friday. Cloudy, foggy, light rain, 39, cloudy, foggy, 38, cloudy, foggy, 38 on Sunday, cloudy, foggy, 40 degrees on Monday. Are we going to have a white Christmas? Probably not. Sorry, folks. That's it for us. Have a great Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow. Until then, bye-bye.